Welcome to the Snapcast podcast, where two friends who love Magic the Gathering, Brad O'Brien and Zach Moeller, talked about all things competitive, casual, and financial in the world of MTG.
What's up, everybody? How's it going, Brad?
Hey, man. Long time no see.
It has been a little while. It's been probably 2 weeks, it feels like. Maybe a little bit more.
Like this is the third week out from the last time, and I think maybe we've done 2 podcasts in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah. We've been slacking a little bit, but we've both just been very busy with our personal lives.
Yeah. It's summer in Maine. It's the best part of the reason to live here.
Yep.
And stuff has been going on. But, we're back, I guess, just in time for the Baldur's Gate set release.
Yep, which is pre-release was this weekend.
Okay. You played in that. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We will, yep.
Have you been playing otherwise since the last time I saw you?
I have not. I've been too busy with work doing 12, 13-hour days on a regular basis. So I get home, have just enough time to, maybe order something for dinner and then relax a little bit and then go to bed. So I haven't been doing too much Magic Online. Started doing it again recently.
Did we? Look, we almost coordinated.
We did almost coordinate.
That was not planned, people, for those of you that are watching the video. Sorry.
No, you're good. So I haven't been playing too much Magic, haven't really been following too much Magic. But that is how it is. How about you?
I'm going to tell you, man, same boat. I haven't even been making it to my regular Commander games, like my EDH play group. I'm just things have been so busy with gigs that I can't make the Friday nights. And then even this past Friday, I didn't have a gig, and I'm just do I want to go play 2 or 3 hour games? Mm-hmm. Or do I want to hang out with some people, go watch a movie, go to the pub, whatever,
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to get out and do stuff. It's summer in Maine.
Would you call it burnout? Are you kind of feeling burnt out from Magic, or is it just you've got too much other things to do that you want to enjoy in your free time?
Well, therein lies the rub, right? That's I sort of made a little adjustment to the introduction where, two friends that talk about all things. I think I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
And I think that the last year and a half of MTG finance has been weird, which was a big part of the reason why I thought that I had something constructive to say in a podcast. And then the last 6 months or so of actually playing Magic has just been not as much fun as it was the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can probably blame a lot of that on COVID too, right? Because we were going so strong until COVID hit. COVID hit, everything took a dive, everything went quiet, went onto the back burner. We've been slowly getting back into Magic now. Events are finally starting to happen on a large scale event.
Yeah.
Regionals are finally back, but it has kind of taken a lot of the hype and drive out of it, especially for you and me. So, it's to be expected, but at the same time, it sucks.
Yeah.
And so
I have had a lot of fun playing EDH. I will say, I don't say that I'm skipping those games as a slight to that, because that's the part of Magic that I'm still enjoying. Mm-hmm. Because, I win 1 out of every 6 games or something, but I don't care. We're there for a couple of hours hanging out. It's
right.
It's like playing Monopoly with less fistfights. Sitting down at Modern, which has always been my favorite format, has really not felt all that fun lately. I don't want to blame the Luris ban, but when Luris got banned, I was like, all right, Hammer's cool, but it's not awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a Matt Nass. I'm not a Sam Black. I'm not so good that I can find the best lines with a pile of crap. Mm-hmm. And yet I've been trying to find the best lines with a pile of crap. I won't get into that. But mostly was I need a deck that's going to do something really powerful.
Yep.
To feel like I have a shot in a game, especially against somebody that is thinking 3 moves ahead. Mm. And I haven't had the I haven't had the, what's the term that I'm looking for? The capacity, the bandwidth to like show up to the shop with a deck that I'm prepared to play, know what else is going on in the meta. I haven't been keeping up. And part of that is it's summer. I've had weeks now in a row where I had no gigs and ended up with 3 or 4 gigs
At the end of the week.
By the end of the week, right? People call me up, hey, I need a bass player for Friday night. It's been awesome. It's great. I mean, it's a huge part of who I am, and it's an honor to be asked to do that stuff. But it leaves no bandwidth for, I'm going to watch 16 hours of VODs of streamers to understand what's going on in the meta for Modern. Nah. And so showing up there and losing terribly the last 2 times I've gone to try and play Modern and gone 0-2 drop and just walked off, like trying not to be salty. I upset young kid on Tron. He's a young kid. He's like 21 now. Craig, we've watched him go from like 14 to 21.
Yep.
But he's like, I don't understand why you get so mad at me. And I'm like, because you mauled to 4 and then had 3 O-stones in a row. Like, why wouldn't I be mad?
Who wouldn't be mad in that situation?
He's like, but it's Tron, man. That's what Tron does.
It is.
And I'm like, I know, I fucking hate this game. And so, like, if that's my experience,
you should probably take a break.
I should probably take a break. How's your experience been with Magic League?
I mean, that experience specifically just for Tron, though, whether it's paper or or online, is the same. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had a game, maybe not against Tron, recently, similar situation. Thought I was fine. Had to put them on 2 specific outs. They had those 2 specific outs, or they drew 1. Yeah. It's terrible. But yeah, currently my experience, or my experiences playing Magic is similar. Ledger Shredder is all over the Modern format now, so I have to have plans to beat that. People have to have plans to beat that. The online meta right now for Merfolk is not good if it's in a league. If I want to play a challenge or something like that, I might do better. But if I'm just going to sit there and play leagues all week, the leagues are not a place for Merfolk right now. So I haven't been doing leagues. I might try to do a challenge on Saturday here and there, but just not feeling it. Don't want to put my money, down the drain with it. And so, yeah.
Woo! And you've also been busy with things outside of Magic.
Yep.
And outside.
Yeah, outside. Just like with you and your gigs, I know that sometimes you play inside.
Yeah.
My newest hobby has been paintball, courtesy of a buddy of mine, and we just bought. We're jumping into the. I almost said format. Jumping into the sport.
Yeah.
We've been buying equipment slowly for it, and my paintball marker, which is paintball gun, for those of you that might not know, is not lost in the mail, but it went south instead of going north. For delivery.
So weird.
So I bought my paintball gun out of a place in New Hampshire that we play at, and then it got shipped to Virginia for some reason instead of north to Maine. So it's still in transit. But that's been a lot of fun. Originally, we were going to do that once a month this summer. And then obviously gas prices have been through the roof. So we're like, we're going to do this like once every 2 months, maybe 3 months. So this is the next time. The next time we're going is the end of this month. We're going to have our own equipment for it. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
For those of you that might know what paintball is, if you play it, that's awesome. I've been enjoying it. For those of you that have been thinking about trying to play it, it doesn't hurt as much as you expect it to. You might get bruises, but they go away.
Yeah, I mean, that's life. If you could also take up baseball and end up bruised. You could take up golf and pull a muscle. Like, you're going to get hurt in a lot of hobbies. Unfortunately, with Magic, it's, emotional damage.
It is emotional damage.
Emotional damage. So, yeah, fun enough. And you were saying, and I kind of want to ask about this. They call it a marker.
Yep.
Okay, I get it. You're marking things.
Yep.
And it was an investment.
Yes. We did this slowly. Like, at first, we bought padding and stuff like that, a decent quality mask, because you do have to wear helmets and masks. because paintballs are flying at you at 50, actually more than 50 miles per hour, but regardless.
Yeah, you don't want that in the eye.
You don't want that in the eye. So we did that first, and then a few weeks ago, my buddy's like, hey, these new markers came out, these paintball guns came out, they're really cheap through the store that we, through the place that we play at, like, buy it now, we can have it shipped to us. So I bought it. It was $400. Now, being Magic players, that doesn't really sound like a lot of money because modern decks are about that price.
I was just going to say, you own 4 Cavern of Souls, or at least
did,
right? And you're like, okay, well, that's 4 Cavern of Souls.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I have to buy a few other things for it, but yeah, like $400 on a paintball gun, that's actually not bad. And the ones that we bought they're really good, you know. But like I get to have this for the rest of however long I want to play in the sport, and it's feasibly not going to depreciate in value. So
yeah, that's awesome. And so, talking about the things that we've been doing, and the way Magic has felt lately, and taking the time off from the podcast, we want to just sort of come right out and say we're probably going to wrap this up.
Yeah, you had kind of wanted to have a discussion. I don't know if it was about ending the podcast, but you had mentioned a few weeks ago that we should probably talk about it. I mentioned it last week, and you were just so busy that we couldn't. And this is actually the first time that we've seen each other in 3 weeks.
And so now we're having the conversation with all of you.
This will be the last episode of the Snapcast podcast for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not gonna delete anything. I'm not gonna close the YouTube site, and I'm not gonna close the podcast hosting server anytime soon. But I'm just not feeling passionate about being here to talk about things that I'm not actively participating in.
Yep.
And the part that most excited me was the
finances,
the financial aspect, the secondary market aspect. I think there are a lot of great podcasts out there that are already doing that information very well. And it's gotten so complicated with all the variants and all the reprints and all of the things. It's like, hey, here you go. This will be Brad's last. Snap this up. Buy the secret lairs. Buy every secret lair. Buy at least one of every secret lair. Mm-hmm. Take the one card out of it that you want, and a year later sell the rest. You'll make money.
Yep.
Like pretty much. And the ones that tanked are more than made up for by the ones that did well.
Yep.
Like you're gonna do better than break even on secret lairs, and that's WotC basically putting the that's a terrible metaphor currently, but the nail in the coffin for MTG Finance.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a last snap this up, I'd say get your ledger shredders now because they are all over Modern. They're all over Pioneer, which is going to be a big format probably in the next year or two.
Yeah.
If you're playing blue in either one of those formats, other than like Merfolk and maybe some other creature-based decks, you're going to want it. Get it now. I know it's like $22 right now, but
it could be 40 next
spring. It's not going to go
down.
down. If it does go down, realistically, I think its lowest hit is going to be 15. Like it's not going to drop below 15 or 10 again unless it sees reprints. And
I will
it's
be
not going to do
surprised
that
if we don't see it in EDH. I mean, it's just such a powerful friggin' card. Sorry, I'm trying to look something up on Facebook now, but it just reminded me we're talking about snap things up.
Yep.
And financial information. I got a message from our friend Andy who was sent preview images for upcoming Commander promos with no context.
Okay.
And on Monday they find out what these next Judge promos are going to be.
Yep.
And I'll bring them up on screen. But he sent me this one. Do you have any guess at what this is?
Revel to Riches?
So Revel in Riches is the black enchantment that says if you have 10 or more treasures, you win the game.
I think it might be like 15, but yeah, it's something
15.
like
It's
that.
A bunch of treasures.
Yeah, it's a bunch of treasures.
Andy's prediction was this might be Smothering Tithe.
Ooh. Yep.
And Smothering Tithe is a card that definitely needs a reprint.
Mm-hmm.
And they love to do them in Judge promos first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that we will probably also see a Secret Lair Smothering Tithe in the next year. But if you're holding on to a speculative Smothering Tithe, a couple, 2-3 copies of this card, and you're not playing them all, I wouldn't hold on to them much longer. I wouldn't hold on to it as it's like a spec.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing multiple decks and you have them in multiple decks, maybe hold on to 2.
Yeah.
Right. Like pitch the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, but hold on to 2.
And if you have 5 Smothering Tithes, weird flex, but okay. Yeah, I thought that was interesting, and it was funny because I did, back to our main topic for today, I had said to Zach, hey, maybe it's been a couple of weeks, maybe before we do another podcast, let's talk about what we want to do going forward. I'm feeling burnt out with the game.
Yep.
And I know you're super busy, and it's like making time for this and trying to come to this feeling prepared with something to say takes more time than maybe we even let on, because we're pretty off the cuff generally. Of course, then Andy sends me those messages yesterday, and I'm like, ooh, I think you're right. That's probably Smothering Tithe. Like, not that this is insider information or anything, but it gave me that, like, spark for a second that was like, ooh, that's cool.
Yep.
And I'm still going to buy Magic cards. Like, I'm really looking forward to Double Double.
Man, like if I wasn't into paintball right now, if I didn't just drop money on paintball rent and then a car payment or a car issue, I'd probably be putting money into DD2 right now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's, again, I think that they're doing the same thing that they did
for the first one.
The first one, but what I was going to say is, I feel like, didn't the first one also come out right after Commander Legends? Like, bam, bam. There was like a set that came out right as Double Masters 1. So let's see. MTG set release dates in order. I wonder if we can see.
I think you're right. I think they were close together, but I honestly don't remember because, not being that huge into Commander, these Commander-specific sets don't really do it for me. Yeah. So I think the last one I really didn't have any care for. So Double Masters 2020, right there.
Right, but we don't get the month.
You don't get the month. Okay.
But I mean, holy crap! If we just look at, from Double Masters 2020. Or right before that, we got the initial Jumpstart, Double Masters, right. Zendikar Rising, Kaladesh Remastered, which was on Arena, right? Compilation set.
Yep.
Kaldheim, Time Sprawl Remastered, Strixhaven, Modern Horizons 2, Forgotten Realms, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, Innistrad Crimson Vow, Kamigawa, Streets of New Capenna. Like, that's a lot of stuff that has come out.
They have gone from basically 4 sets a year, because I remember way back when, there was 4 sets a year, and this was before or right around the time that they started doing one Commander deck release at a year.
Yeah.
Like they would release 4 to 5 Commander decks at the end of the year. They were separate from the last expansion. Like, they weren't even themed. They were just separate decks.
Yep.
And now we're getting Commander product pretty much every set. We're getting 2 to maybe 3 special separate sets, like these specialty sets, like Baldur's Gate, and then DD2 and Modern Masters 3 or whatever the fuck it's called. So we're getting so many sets now.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that it is product overload for a lot of people, in the Magic community. No, maybe not ours specifically, but just out there in the world of Magic, a lot of people are feeling just overwhelmed with all these sets. So it can be, for a financial aspect, to stay on top of all this. Like, impossible. Really, really hard, for sure.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find.
He's looking through a bunch of stuff.
Trying to find the months, because it came out in August of 2020, and it was not related to the summer set. So there was a summer set.
Yep.
Same way, like right now, we just got Baldur's Gate, which is Commander Legends 2.
Yep.
And in a few, that's officially out on the 10th. And then a week or so after that, we're going to start getting the official previews for Double Masters.
Yep.
Holy crap.
They just want all of our money. It's all they want.
I mean, they're going to get it. They're going to get.
They will get it.
Even still, and something that you brought up that I really like is we are. I think even our local shop, the people there are going to start pressing for Pioneer. There's going to be other formats that get to be played competitively. Things will turn over. There are new people. You were at pre-release the pre-release for this Baldur's Gate Command Legends 2, and there was a bunch of people there.
There was.
So, like, Magic as a game is healthy. My relationship with the game right now feels unhealthy, and so that's why I want to step away, but, I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Really?
No. You'll still be around. I'll still be around. I'm still, I will dip my toes back into Magic Online, especially when my work schedule allows it. And then we have events coming back. We have the regional qualifiers coming back. We have bigger events coming back. DreamHack has been doing big scale events. There's actually one this weekend. This is June, was it 5th? 6th? 5th, June 5th. They're finishing up a DreamHack event right now where they did two modern 10Ks at their event. It's not a pre-release because they're doing two separate events, but it realistically is the return of Grand Prix. So there's stuff that people can go and interact with. There's things that we can go out and do now. It's just the drive to do it is still rather low for a lot of us because we're coming out of COVID. We're coming out of all these restrictions, all these lockdowns. It's going to take some time for a lot of us to have the energy and the drive to go do these.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to Double Masters 2, and I'm looking forward to events. And as sad as I am to say it, I'm looking forward to not trying to coordinate what day works for the podcast and what day, I can put some time aside to try and look into things before we get together and do it.
Yep.
Because I have really enjoyed this process. I've enjoyed working with you. I've enjoyed working with Andy. I enjoyed working with Mike. I really do like the production side of it. Mm-hmm. And, I have the equipment. So it may be that I consider doing a podcast on another topic, and continue to make use of
what you have.
Of what I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the Magic content space will survive just fine
without us.
Without us.
I would agree. So, Double Masters 2 coming up soon. As Brad mentioned before, it is mostly going to be reprints. I know the last time we did this, we talked about Ren and Sixes, Liliana the Last Hopes, all the original Eldrazi. Make those movements if you want to move it. If you want to sell something, use your best judgment. Previews for that set start very soon, so we don't have too many new ones. The box art for that set, though, does have Mana Vault. Mm-hmm. It has Liliana the Last Hope, and it has Amatu, which was one of the pre-cons from a few years ago. Yeah. So
again, if you're holding on to these things as specs, if you have multiple copies, here's the thing. If you have a couple of regular Mana Vaults with the newer image on them, they're not going to be more valuable in a month.
Nope.
Which one was this? Ultimate Masters? The Ultimate Masters printing is not going to be worth more after the full announcement of Double Masters 2. Mm-hmm. And if I'm wrong, sorry. But it's on the box.
It's on the box, right? They don't just put images on the box to then not put it in the set.
Not usually.
Right? What was it? The 25th edition that had Jace, Mind Sculptor, on the it had it on the box. They're not going to put them on the box and then not put them in packs.
Here's the box on Amazon.
Boom. Bottom left corner.
It's that's pretty clear that's that building.
Yeah, right and I mean, going off of the last Double Master set, it was all reprints.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You can't really doubt that they're not going to do that again. especially with a lot of the card prices are right now for a lot of things that people have been asking for reprints. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be great. You know, I don't know that they're going to get Ragavan in there, but it'll be great to see Ren and 6.
yeah, Ragavan would be interesting if they did fit it in.
My computer's doing all sorts of weird shit. I don't even know what's popping up over here.
Yep.
But that's okay.
Do we want to, because I mean, we've kind of talked about DDM and the command set. Do we just want to go to deck list really quick?
Sure. I will see what people are doing. Let's see.
So the Mana Traders website, they do a monthly series. They're renting or card renting service for Magic Online players. I use their service. It's really cool. They host a free event each month, and that format rotates. Last month was Pioneer. So since we've been trying to cover Pioneer stuff, I decided to grab that event.
It doesn't look super awesome.
Right, talk about a stale format. This is kind of getting stale. So here we have the top 8 of that event.
228 players.
228 players. Now, keep in mind, this event's not done in a day. This is a process that goes throughout the month. It's free to play. It's done in 3 stages. Stage 1 is usually like a week and a half. You play X amount of games. You have to have a certain win percentage at X amount of games.
Okay.
So for 10 games, you have to win 70% of them. For 20 games, I think it's like 65, something like that. Stage 2 and Stage 3 are done back to back. So Stage 2 is all done in a day, and then Stage 3 is done in a day, because Stage 3 is your top 8. So this is Winnata. Is it Arclight Phoenix? Blue-White Control. Another Is it Arclight Phoenix? Is it Control? Maudoo Greasefang, and Winnata. There is one deck out of that top 8 that is not duplicated, and that is the Greasefang, the Maudoo Greasefang deck.
And if we look at 9 through 16, Green Devotion, Black Devotion, Red Deck, another Control, and 3 more Winotas. So, not diverse.
Not diverse. If you expect there to be a ban in this format anytime soon, which in my opinion won't happen until after the first Pro Tour next year, which will be Pioneer, or maybe a few months beforehand, something in Winota is probably going to be banned.
Speaking of cards that probably won't go down in price, Fable of the Mirror Breaker at 11 at
about $11. Yeah.
Well, that's Card Kingdom. I like TCG Player. Let's see what they're actually listed for on TCG. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, rare. Look at the price graph on that. You can get them for as low as $6. You're probably not going to get a play set for that. So, if you want to order 4 from one vendor, you're looking at closer to $8 a piece.
Yep.
But it's a mono red card.
Well, the reason that price graph looks so steep is because it started so low. At set release, we were talking about $1, maybe $2 at most. And then people realized, oh, this is actually good. So, does it have much more room to climb? It might, but
I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it's getting any cheaper.
No. This is probably another good time to pick up those if you haven't gotten them already.
It jumped to $5. It's looking like in March, in April, it was over $6, and now we're talking
10.
about climbing towards 10. It's seeing play in so many decks that you wouldn't think of. The value on being able to copy anything is so ridiculous. That effect, even this way, where you get to, and we're looking at the Maudoo Greasefang deck.
Right.
And so Maudoo Greasefang, we've talked about Greasefang a bunch, but this deck is running 4 of these Fable of the Mirror Breaker. One of the things that it will let you do is discard your Parhelions.
Which is what it wants to do anyways, right? The deck wants to put these giant artifact vehicles into the graveyard so that Greasefang can then recur it, crew it, and then bash face with it. You're not even, realistically, I don't think you're even trying to flip this card. You want it for it makes a 2/2 goblin
Yeah.
that can give you treasures, and then it makes you a treasure, and then you're discarding your combo piece.
Yeah. I would say don't underestimate the ability to get through removal. So if you have this flipped and then you play Grease Fang and somebody goes to kill it before the trigger,
Yep.
you can clone it.
Yep. You can make a copy.
This deck is also running one Croxa. And so when you play Croxa with the evoke trigger on the the sack trigger on the stack, you can make another copy, so you can get them to either discard another card or lose 3 more life. So you can be doing that twice a turn.
That's sweet.
It is pretty
It's sweet to play, not sweet to play against.
Yeah.
Because if I was sitting across from that and someone did that to me, I'd have the same reaction you had to Craig on Tron. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
I just
press him. I do like they're playing Ray of Enfeeblement. If you have black and you're playing Pioneer, you should probably have Ray of Enfeeblement in your sideboard because it can kill Winota.
Yep.
That's the big thing I would say there is, it gets through Winota's 4 toughness because it's a white creature. But I do love Grease Fang. Maybe I really need to go back to my idea of trying to do Grease Fang in Modern, and maybe I will have more fun. It just seems like so easy to hate out.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was toying around with Pioneer, I was playing some Grease Fang decks, and it was very easy to hate out. Like, you have to always board into artifact or graveyard hate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the hate in the format is artifact hate. Relic, Cage, and a few others. It's always there. And it's honestly surprising how well people do with this list because it's so hated out so often. But people are still putting up results with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But the format is going to stick around. A lot of people like it. It's, kind of pseudo on Arena with Pioneer Light at the moment. And then Magic Online. Events are happening for it. Pick up stables now. Pick up land bases. Pick up anything that's not in Winota probably is safe.
Yeah. Here's a Rakdos aggro deck, also running 4 Fables.
I don't think we've seen Chandra Dress to Kill recently in any of the decks in the format, but that's a spec that we had a while ago.
Yeah.
And it does show up from time to time. It shows up in Modern from time to time. So
I'll tell you what, a lot of these Trespasser cycles are getting a little bit more respect.
Mm-hmm.
This is also another probably interesting spec at 250 for a rare. 3 mana, 3/3. Ward, discard a card. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you drain for 1, gain 1.
Yep. And this is Graveyard Trespasser, and then it has a flip side. It becomes a 4/4. Has the same ward ability of discard a card.
And the same
trigger. Attack trigger, only you get to target, you get to exile 2 cards.
Oh, it does. And it becomes a 4/4.
It becomes a 4/4, which 3/3s and 4/4s in Pioneer are very hard to kill. Because a lot of the removal, if it's not destroy, is 2 damage. People have been moving towards just straight destroy effects, but there's just not that many in the format right now. Which is probably why the format is kind of stale. When you look at these prelims, challenge events, just the high-end stuff, high-end challenge events on Pioneer online, people know what the best decks are. That's what they're going to play.
Man, look at this mana base. Urborg, Takenuma, Soken-san, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Den of the Bugbear, Castle Lochthwain, and then some basics and some dual lands. But, they're getting a lot of value lands in here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of value lands. That is very interesting. And this deck having the Graveyard Trespassers, Kalidas, which will also exile creatures when they would die, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, when it attacks, exile card from a graveyard. I'm pretty sure that does something with graveyards. Very interesting.
And that's all
so
Maine
much graveyard
stuff.
hate, right? And then there's Go Blank and Unlicensed Hearse in the in the sideboard more graveyard hate.
Yep.
So they are definitely like going after the Arclight decks and going after the other Greasefang decks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I think Greasefang is just catching it's just getting coincidental graveyard hate because of the Phoenix decks. Because the Phoenix deck was, in the format from the get-go.
Also, look at this. This is the regular unlicensed hearse.
Yeah, I need to pick up a few of these.
Yeah. I traded for a full art for my vehicles deck and Commander. But, I mean, you're looking at a card that we haven't seen a whole lot of. Be between $5 and $10 for an imprint rare. People are going to be paying attention to Baldur's Gate and Modern Masters 2 or Double Masters 2022. Might be a good time to start looking at some of these playable rares.
Yep.
In New Capenna. I don't know. Sneaky win con too. So, all right. Now that we've had all this conversation about what's been going on in the format and how much Brad hasn't been having fun with Magic, and I've been iterating on that black-white deck that we talked about like 3 months ago.
Yep.
Here's my new idea. And cards like Unlicensed Hearse are making me think of it. And it is because I've always felt like the 3-mana Kaya, the 1 black-white Kaya, that ultimates by dealing damage equal to the number of exiled cards a player owns, does that much damage to them. Well, what is like March of Otherworldly Light and Prismatic Ending and Path to Exile? What do those all have in common?
They all exile target things.
They all exile target things. Even something like an Oblivion Ring, what does that do? It exiles a thing.
Yep.
And what does Rest in Peace say?
It's basically a replacement effect for anything that hits your graveyard becomes exiled.
Right? And so, could there be just a black-white control deck that gets to run main deck Rest in Peace and Kaya as a potential win con? Maybe Unlicensed Hearse as another way to attack graveyard, and then all of your other stuff is Thoughtseize, like all control cards. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, March of Otherworldly Light. And then I realized this card that should have been in my sideboard the other day. Farewell, my enchantment-loving friends. Farewell.
That is the 4-mana double white sorcery speed spell from Kamigara Neon. You get to choose one or more, exile all artifacts or creatures or enchantments or graveyards. So it's basically a board wipe. It's a 6-mana board wipe that allows you to exile anything other than planeswalkers.
Right, and so thinking about sort of a black-white planeswalker control deck that is really running Karn and Kaya and maybe 1 or 2 other planeswalkers and saying, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that. Tick up my Kaya, tick up my Kaya, tick up my Kaya.
And you're gonna basically fuel the ultimate for Kaya.
Yeah.
Is what your goal is. So you do a bunch of small things, incremental things that help to fuel the end game, which is Kaya.
Which is which one is that?
I think it might be
Orzhov Usurper.
Yes.
I believe is the one that I'm talking about, yes.
It is 3 mana.
Exile up to 2 cards from a single graveyard. You gain 2 life if one of those was a creature. -1, exile target non-land permanent CMC 1 or less. I didn't even think about this. I could have hit the on thin ice. I gotta learn how to play Magic. -5, Kaya Orzhov Usurper deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards that player owns in exile, and you gain that much life.
So this is actually a key thing here. So typically, cards that deal damage based on a zone sometimes require you to have it being exiled from with that card. So this is not that case. And as you were explaining this, I was like, I really hope this reads differently than how I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
But typically
all the exiled cards.
Right. But if because you have Kron Great Creator, that is a Great Creator or the other 4-mana one that he exiles a card and you get to cast it from exile with a counter on it.
That's the other one. That's the other 4-mana card.
But it's, he's not, he himself exiles it, and then you have to cast it with that specific counter. So I'm glad this doesn't read that way, which is what I was fearing.
Yep. No, this says all your opponent's exiled cards count towards this. So, yeah, if you path to exile a creature, or if you
farewell
their whole board. And one of the things that I had said to Zach, and I got to mess around with, is Luxior Giada's Gift as a Karn board, a wish board target.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, well, I can control your board, but how do I end the game?
Yeah.
Like, I can put this on a Karn or a Kaya or whatever, and actually start swinging in with the Planeswalker. So if I farewell the whole board state, equip Luxior plus, play Kaya and equip this. Kaya pluses to 4, and then swings for 4.
4, yep. Because it gets +1/+1 for each counter
on it.
Yep.
Again, it's a stupid idea, and I really wish that I was just playing like a tier deck and having fun with it. And I've been frustrated the last few games, but just talking about this now and looking at Unlicensed Hearse, it gets me going. And I feel like there's something there, because they have given us the March of Otherworldly Lights and having Prismatic Ending in Modern, where you can exile basically anything.
Yep.
And can I get a perk out of that exile? And in a black-white deck, maybe I'm playing Wasteland Strangler.
Mm-hmm. God, that's a throwback. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Tide Skull used to work or pair really well with that too, because you'd exile something with Tide Sculler, and then you'd put it back into the graveyard with Wasteland Strangler and get the benefit of the effect.
Yeah. So you can take, path something and then take it out of exile, put it in their graveyard, kill another thing, and then in this deck, in this concept deck, plus Kaya to then exile it again from their graveyard and gain 2 life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it puts it back into the graveyard to feed for other exile effects.
Yeah. I don't know. So you coming to a Modern table near you. Baddecks.com. Brad's MO. What do you think, man?
I think we probably call it here.
It's been an honor.
It's been a fun time, guys. Thank you for all the support we've gotten over the few months that I've been on the show, and obviously all the support that everyone has given Brad and Cooley and Andy over the years. So thank you.
Love you, everybody.
We will see you later.
See you down the road. Peace.
Peace.